Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, today we will discuss about the Russian Socialist Revolution that occurred in Russia during 1917. You know that Russia is the largest country in the world even today, with 6.6 million square kilometers of area, approximately double the size of India. In the 20th century, or if you look at the history of Russia, Russia was a monarchy. Russia was an empire which included several territories like Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Georgia. All these were part of the Russian Empire. In the recent times, Russia was ruled by 5 rulers, and the Russian emperor is known as Tsar. T-Z-A-R, Tsar, Russian Tsar. So Russia was ruled by Tsar Alexander I, Tsar Alexander II, Tsar Nicholas I, Tsar Alexander III, and during the Russian Revolution, Tsar Nicholas II. So Tsar Nicholas II was the emperor of Russia during the Russian Revolution. Under the rule of all these emperors, Russian people faced tyranny. They ruled very cruelly with the help of an imperial army and bureaucracy, government officers, corrupt officers of the Tsar. Majority of the people in Russia were agriculturists. They were practicing agriculture and they suffered from feudalism. In 9th class, you learned about feudalism. The land is owned by landlords and people work on the land of the landlords as tenants. The society is divided between the landlords and the tenants. And agricultural slavery was very common in Russia. The agricultural slavery that was practiced in Russia is known as serfdom. Serfdom. So we know the people of Russia during the modern time were attracted towards the principles of socialism. They were attracted towards the principles of Marxism, advocated by Karl Marx. So socialist ideas developed in the minds of educated people in Russia due to the writings of intellectuals like Turgenev, Leo Tolstoy, Maxim Gorky, etc. And they were attracted towards socialism, right? So if you look at the size of Russia, Russia was, or even today, is the largest country in the world. It has got an area of 6.6 million square kilometers, and the major occupation of the common people was agriculture. So now let us see the conditions that existed in Russia. You know, Russian army was very cruel. Tsar Nicholas II used the Russian army to suppress the people, and on account of all these, major changes occurred in the society. And you learned that Russia also joined the First World War. When Austria attacked Serbia, Russia came to the support of Serbia. Russia also participated in the First World War, and Russia suffered in the hands of Germany. Russian army or Russian military was the largest army in the world. Even though Russia suffered at the hands of Germany, near about 2 million soldiers lost their lives in the First World War. You know, the total casualties are 10 million people. 10 to 12 million soldiers died in the First World War. Russia alone lost 2 million soldiers. So on account of this, as Russia participated in the First World War, there arose severe shortage of bread, severe shortage of food in Russia, as the food materials were diverted to the battlefront. There arose severe shortage of bread, food in Russia. That was the immediate cause for the outbreak of revolution. People revolting, people becoming rebellious, right? On 8th March, or you can say that people were dissatisfied with the battle. They were not ready to cooperate with the Russian emperor's efforts to fight war against Germany. So they demanded immediate stop of war and unconditional withdrawal from war and peace with Germany. So people suffered as there was severe shortage of bread in Russia. So on 8th March 1917, near about 10,000 women marched to the royal palace of the emperor at St. Petersburg, the capital of Russia. Right? Now, they demanded peace and bread, peace with Germany and food for the starving people. So they marched to the capital city, St. Petersburg, to the palace of St. Petersburg, right? Under the leadership of Father Gopan. Now, Sir Nicholas II, who was fighting war, was deeply disappointed and he wanted to suppress the movement of the people. So he ordered the army. He sent the army to suppress the movement of the people. He ordered to stop the procession, to stop the march even by firing at them. The army, which went to stop the march, stop the protest movement, did not stop it, but instead of joined hands with the revolutionaries. The army also joined the people. As a result, after 2 days, Sir Nicholas II had no other chance because army also revolted. Army also joined hands with the people. Army also sided with the revolutionaries. As a result, the Tsar Nicholas II, abdicated the throne and escaped. Right. This is the first revolution that occurred in Russia in 1917. Right. It is called March Revolution. It occurred on 8th March 1917. It is a political phase of the Russian Revolution. A revolution, you learned in 8th and 9th class. Revolution is a sudden change in the existing system. A sudden change in the form of government is called as revolution, right? So it is called a revolution because for centuries, Russia was ruled by monarchs. Monarchy was in France. So on 8th March 1917, Nicholas II abdicated his throne and escaped for his life. A change of government and the revolutionaries captured power and the liberal aristocrats set up a provisional government. Right. This is the political phase of the Russian Revolution. That is, Sir Nicholas II abdicated his throne and a liberal government came into its place. Or the March Revolution in Russia put an end to monarchy. It put an end to the rule of king, right? This is called the political phase of the Russian Revolution of 1917. Now, there were two groups of socialists in Russia. One group was called as moderate group. Another group was known as extreme wing of socialism. The moderates were known as Mensheviks. The moderate socialists were known as Menshevik, and they were led by Alexander Karnatsky. The Mensheviks were led by Alexander Karnatsky, and there was another wing which was very powerful, the extreme wing of socialism known as Bolsheviks. And Bolsheviks were led by Lenin. So there are two important leaders. One is Alexander Karnatsky, another one is Lenin. So Lenin is an extreme socialist. Alexander Karnatsky was a moderate socialist. So the moderate socialists came to power and they continued the war with Russia because They wanted to end the war on a honorable manner. They did not want to immediately stop the war. So they continued with the war. Right? Whereas Bolsheviks advocated immediate ending of war. Immediate ending of war. Alexander Karnevsky influenced, inspired the army for some time, and the war continued. War with Germany continued. But meanwhile, the Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, became very active, and they captured all the local level governments. They set up Soviets. You might have heard about the term Soviet. Soviet means Council of Workers. What is the meaning of Soviet? Soviet means Council of Workers, right? So the Soviets were established. There were so many Soviets of the workers, Soviet of the farmers, Soviet of the peasant Soviets, women Soviets, and in local level, they set up lot of councils, right? And what is the demand of the Bolsheviks? The Bolsheviks advocated speedy end of war. They wanted to immediately stop the war and bring peace, right? Bolsheviks under Vladimir Lenin demanded immediate and unconditional peace. Immediate and unconditional peace. And they also promised nationalization of land. The land owned by the landlords, the land owned by the feudals, the land owned by the clergy should all be captured, and it should be redistributed to the landless peasants. So Bolsheviks under Lenin declared that if they come to power, they will redistribute the land. So second demand of the Bolshevik party is nationalization of land, redistribution of land to the peasants. So they advocated peace with Germany, food to the starving people, and nationalization of land. So these are the radical measures and the radical programs of the Bolsheviks. I think it is clear to you that the socialists in Russia during 1917-15 period were divided into two groups, right? Or the socialist parties split into two groups. One group is known as Mensheviks, and the other group is known as Bolsheviks. Mensheviks are known as moderate socialists. They were ready to wait for the triumph of socialism, and they wanted to establish socialism. They wanted to achieve socialism, equality, on a gradual and constitutional method. They were not ready for violence. They were not ready to practice violence to achieve their goal. Whereas the other group, known as the radical group, and this group was led by Lenin. And Lenin's Bolsheviks advocated that they were even ready to use violence. They preached that they should capture power at the first given chance, right? Even by resorting to violence, and establish the dictatorship of the proletariat. Who should come to power? Who should capture power? Workers should capture power. Workers should become all powerful. They should unite, and they should capture power even by using violence. That is the advocacy of Lenin, Bolsheviks, right? So during the First World War, as Russia suffered several defeats in the hands of Germany at different places, there arose severe shortage of food, severe shortage of bread, the staple food of Russia. People demanded bread. We could see people finding very difficult to feed their children. Mothers are coming onto the street with their children in search of food. Under such situation, a small protest movement started in St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg was the capital of Russia during monarchy, right? St. Petersburg. Today, the capital of Russia and the Russian Republic is Moscow. St. Petersburg is renamed today as Leningrad, right? So near about 10,000 women marched to the palace of Tsar Nicholas II, demanding peace and bread. Tsar Nicholas II could not tolerate this and decided to suppress the movement of the people by sending the army. Nicholas even ordered the army to fire at the protesters. But the soldiers were also equally disappointed. The soldiers were also equally dissatisfied. They also wanted to see the war ends as soon as possible. Soldiers even refused to fight. So under that situation, the army also joined hands with the people. Can the king continue to rule when the army oppose him? Not possible. When the army is not giving support to the king becomes powerless. As a result, Sir Nicholas II abdicated the throne and fled away for his life. Right? Later, the revolutionaries captured Nicholas II and his wife and hanged them. Right? So that is the March Revolution of 1917. The March Revolution of 1917 is known as the political phase of the Russian Revolution. Yes, and later a provincial government was set up by the liberals and the aristocrats. Aristocrats means rich people. The liberals and the aristocrats set up a government, a temporary provisional government, and they continued the war with Germany. They wanted to continue the war and bring the war to a speedy and honorable end. Right? Whereas they were opposed by another group, and later the government of Prince-Lov was toppled by the moderate socialists called Mensheviks under the leadership of Alexander Kerensky. And Mensheviks came to power and they continued war. But the Mensheviks inspired the army for some time, but they also became a failure because of the Bolsheviks demanding immediate and unconditional peace with Germany. And they offered food to the starving people, peace with Germany, nationalization of land and distribution of land to the land-hungry peasants. The peasants who were oppressed, suppressed for centuries. So the radical programs adopted by the Bolsheviks attracted the people, and the people supported Bolsheviks, and Bolsheviks became very famous and they set up Soviets. Soviets means Council of Workers. There were Soviets set up by the Communist Party called Bolshevik, represented all sections of the people. There were Council of Workers, Soviet of Workers, Soviets of Peasants, Soviet of Advocates, different types of Soviets. And soon all the local government came into the hands of Bolsheviks, right? And the Bolsheviks became very popular. The policies of Bolsheviks became very popular because they demanded peace with Germany, nationalization of land and redistribution of land to the landless peasants. Next, they also promised food to the starving people. And on account of this, Lenin influenced the military. Lenin influenced all sections of the government, and finally he captured power. He captured power through a coup d'etat. Capturing power is called coup, C-O-U-P, coup d'etat. So Lenin came to power through a coup d'etat. Okay, it happened in October and November. It is known as the October Revolution. So soon after coming to power, Lenin announced nationalization of land, abolition of private property, right? The land of the landlords, the feuds and the kings were all captured and distributed to the people. Right. Now, let us say this is a social phase of revolution. Social phase of the Russian Revolution. Workers capturing power and the nationalization of land is called the social phase of Russian Revolution. Right? Let us now study something about Lenin. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov Lenin, that is his full name. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov Lenin was born in 1870, and he was attracted towards the idea of national socialism. And his elder brother was hanged because he was a member of a secret organization called Nihilist. And this secret organization, this secret underground society, bombed and killed Alexander III. Sir Alexander III was assassinated by the Nihilists. So Lenin's elder brother was also a member of that group, and he was captured and he was also hanged. So Lenin's elder brother was hanged for being a member of the Nihilist group who plotted the assassination of Sir Alexander III. After that, Lenin, as he was pursuing law in the Kazan University, he escaped to Siberia. He went into exile, and later he came back during revolution, joined a party, started a newspaper called Iskra, and later he had differences with the socialists, and he established a new party called Bolshevik Party in 1909. The Bolsheviks wanted to capture power. The Bolsheviks wanted to destroy the existing order. The Bolsheviks wanted to see that a new order in which workers will become all powerful. Workers will capture power and establish the dictatorship of the proletariat. Right. So Lenin established the Bolshevik Party, and during the revolution, Lenin went with his radical programs and became very popular. Lenin was able to influence all sections of the people because the Bolsheviks under Lenin promised peace with Germany, unconditional and immediate end of war. The Bolsheviks also promised food to the starving people, and more importantly, nationalization of land, capturing the land of the landlords and redistribution of land to the land-hungry, landless peasants. So these programs became very, very popular, and all sections of the people supported Lenin, and Lenin captured power through a coup d'etat, overthrew the government of Alexander Kerensky, and established a socialist republic, established a communist republic in 1917, March 1917. This is known as the March Revolution, right? Sorry, October Revolution, right? In the March Revolution, Sir Nicholas II abdicated throne and a provincial government was set up. Monarchy was put to an end, right? That is the political phase of Russian Revolution, whereas a more powerful revolution occurred in November 1917, in which Lenin captured power and established the dictatorship of the working class, or a communist republic was established. This is a major change occurred in the world during the 20th century, which gave hope to millions and millions of workers, working people, and poor people. They also aspired to become equal with others, right? Equality and liberty, a classless society, a society in which all people are equal, economically, politically, and socially. So we say Lenin influenced the course of 20th century. Lenin was an important person who changed the future of the world, right, through his socialist revolution. Now, in 1917, though Lenin came to power and established a communist government, It did not bring peace immediately, right? The communists under Lenin signed a treaty with Germany and withdrew from war by surrendering lot of areas to Germany. And then, the White Army, anti-communist and the monarchist. Who are the monarchists? Those who support the rule of the king. Those who support the rule of the king may be generally rich people, princes, aristocrats, nobles, clergy, all those who supported king's rule and opposed communists formed an army and a civil war broke out in Russia. And this civil war, this White Army, was supported by other European powers because they were also alarmed at the situation that happened in Russia. They feared that such kind of revolution, such type of workers' movement, such type of socialist movement will spread to their country like Britain, France, and USA. So Britain, France, USA, and even Japan helped the White Army, send army to Russia to defeat the revolution, to defeat Lenin and restore monarchy back in Russia. And war continued for some time, and Lenin successfully defeated the White Army and finally sent out all the foreign forces from Russia, and he declared in 1920, he declared independence to all other nations which were part of the Russian Empire, like Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan. Lenin declared independence to them, right? But they showed interest to stay back in the Communist Republic, and as a result, in 1922, Lenin formed a federation called USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. USSR was established in 1920, right? USSR came into being in 1920, and Lenin became the undisputed leader of Russia. Now, let us look at some important places and maps about Russia. Look at the Russian Empire. Do you see a picture on your screen?
Yes,
Do you find this is the Russian Empire,
sir.
right? In the beginning of the 20th century, during Sir Nicholas II's period, Russian Empire was an extensive area. Look at this Russia. Then you can find in the south of what you call Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan. Then here, Ukraine. All the entire area was part of the Russian Empire. Now, the capital of Russia or Russian Empire was St. Petersburg, right? It was St. Petersburg. Today, it is Moscow. The capital of Russia now is Moscow. Look at here, you can see both are nearby places. St. Petersburg, you see here. This is the point, okay, in the Baltic Sea. Near the Baltic Sea, you can find St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg was the capital of Russian monarchs or the Russian Empire. And later, the capital was changed to Moscow. You can see nearby place. And today, St. Petersburg is renamed in the name of Lenin, Leningrad, right? So Lenin was an important person in the 20th century because of his revolution. And this revolution is called as the famous Russian Socialist Revolution. Okay. Now you can see Russian leader Lenin. Do you see Lenin here? You can note Russian leader Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov Lenin. Yes, any doubts?
Sir, what is mean by dictatorship, sir?
Dictatorship means what? Rule by a single person, rule without any constitution. What comes from the mouth of the ruler is the law. Dictate, rule single-handedly. Adolf Hitler became a dictator, means he alone ruled. Understand? Dictator.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
what is the difference between democratic countries and communist countries?
We will learn it later. We will learn what is exactly by communism, right? Communism is an ideology developed in the world. It is the movement that the natural resources and other resources should belong to entire community, not to particular people. The wealth of the country is not for the benefit of some people. It should be for the benefit of all people. That ideology is called communism. Karl Marx is known as the father of modern communism, right? He has written two great books called The Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital. The Das Kapital is said to be the base for modern communism, right? They believe that natural resources like land, water, forest cannot be owned by anybody. Communists believe that you cannot become the owner. You cannot own anything which you cannot create. This land is not yours because you did not create it. This land belongs to everybody. That ideology is called communism, right? And in communism, people feel that all are equal. All should work and earn. Live by your set. If you want to live, you should work. You cannot own the land, right? You should not own the land. You cannot own the land. You see, for example, the extreme communist in Telangana formed a radical group called People's War Group. People's War Group. We call them Naxalites. What do they do? Today they are called as Maoists. We will learn in a later lesson who are Maoists. What do Naxalites do? What do? They capture the land of the landlords. Understand? They attack the landlords and capture the land from them. And what do they want? They want to distribute this land to the landless person, right? That ideology is called communism. Whereas democracy is something different. In democracy, we have freedom. What type of freedom? You have freedom if you are capable, if you are intelligent, you can work hard, you can become rich, you can own property, you can form your government. Whereas in communism, you cannot own anything. Everything belongs to the community. Everything belongs to all people living in a community. All should develop equally. That is the ideology of communism. Socialism is also more or less same. Socialism is that everything, development, production, natural resources should all be spent for the benefit of the society, right? Not for the benefit of one or few individual people, right? India, we also declare our country as a socialist country. We will learn in later part how do we say that we are committed to the ideal of socialism. Okay, Anjali, any doubt?
No, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you understood that Russian Revolution is a communist revolution. Russian Revolution is fought for establishing a society in which all are equal. No gap between rich and the poor. No rich people, no poor people. All are equal, all are workers. That is why we call it as a dictatorship of the proletariat. Who can live? Only workers can live. If you want to live in Russia, you should become a worker. Understand? There are no owners, there are no landlords. All are equal. Factories are owned by Soviets, Council of Workers. Land is owned by entire community in the village. You can produce and you can take for your use. You cannot sell it in the open market. So many developments started in Russia known as collective agriculture, nationalization of land, collective agriculture, then what, nationalization of major factories were all something introduced in Russia, which were later adopted, and the people in other parts of Asia who were fighting for independence got attracted to this Russian model of communism, Russian model of socialism. So communist revolutions and socialist revolutions occurred in different parts of the world. Some of the Indian leaders like M.N. Roy, Rabindranath Tagore, Jawaharlal Nehru all got attracted towards the Russian socialism. Understand? China became a communist country under Mao Zedong. Vietnam became a communist country under Ho Chi Minh. Right? Fidel Castro laid foundation to a communist republic in Cuba. Marshal Tito in Yugoslavia. They were all some people who got influenced, inspired by the Russian Revolution, and similar revolutions were engineered in their countries and set up communist republics. See, this happened between the wars, World War I and World War II. It happened towards the end of World War. Russia withdrew from First World War by signing a treaty with Germany. That upset the balance of power. So Germany gained. At that time, USA joined the war on the side of Britain and France. That finally made the defeat of Germany. So we also learned that one of the causes for the outbreak of Second World War is fear of socialism. Did you learn yesterday? Fear of socialism. Who feared socialism?